artists are in pain due to a physical pain or an emotional pain, and having to take drugs in order to ease the pain, and then ultimately getting hooked. So I got together with Black Dot, Soleil, Red Pill, and myself this Sunday. We're going to be talking about the weaponization of black music. Are they using the pain of black people to sell records and to keep us on this vibration, though, bro?
Yeah, for certain. But I feel like that's more of a perpetuation and less of what the foundational principles or aspects of it really are. I think the foundational aspect of it is that, let's keep it real, our people perish from a lack of knowledge.
Right.
And so it gets extensive when you have an industry, which when you deal with industry, you have to understand what that even means. You're industrializing something that was someone else's nature. So someone's nature and you industrialize it, that means you're manufacturing something that was natural, and it's a farce. You can't industrialize nature, right? They tried that shit with the zoo, right? It doesn't work. You put a lion in a cage, it doesn't understand the cage.
Right.
Everybody cries when the lion eats the trainer. Everybody cries. But the lion is just like, yo, that's my nature, but then I got to get killed. So what we're seeing is we're getting killed for our nature because someone chose to industrialize who we are. And the foundational principles or aspects that I think is the because we got to see like where this stems from. Spirituality, bro. We aren't culturally, exhibiting the facets of our ancestors.
Right.
So even a dude like X, right?
Right.
I got a song with X. I was blessed, man. I met him and played it for him, and he loved it, and he hopped on it. Because X was real like that.
Right.
So at his core, X was culture. Right? But from a principle base, he had some flaw, and all his flaws stemmed in the spiritual connection that he had. X's spiritual connection was more religious than it was spiritual. Every time I seen him, I give him praise, big bro, hey, you the God, king, legend. Everybody did. But X's downfalls to me were the way he spiritually connected with God. His spiritual connection with God, it was so religious that he would say things like, God is punishing me so other people can see the salvation. And I always thought that was damaging. I thought that's the dogma of it is very religious. And the rhetoric is dangerous.
Right.
Because I've seen brothers come out to Hollywood and fall. And then look at their foundational religious systems, right? Which is our connection to spirituality. And then deem it like, yo, all my failures is just God testing me, or it's God punishing me. And I never connected with that. I thought that's dangerous because it takes the onus and the accountability off of self. And I always thought that was dangerous. And what we're seeing now is a lot of cats have drug problems. You said something very integral to me. You said you've never done a drug.
Right.
And you my big bro. I'm 40. Right? I've never done a drug.
Right.
But it's because I have this understanding of self. If DMX would have known self the way we loved him, right? Because sometimes you can't see from the inside what we see from the outside.
Right.
The way our human dynamic is set up, we have eyes and we don't understand. We see everything from perspectives, but we fail to understand, right? If DMX understood, he would grow old, wise. We still have him, and he turn into the teacher now. He'd now be the teacher.
Right.
50, sitting down, teaching, going all over the world, drawing them same crowds, but now teaching the dynamic and the dichotomy of, the darkness versus the light. Because he was a master at dark and light energy.
Right, but let me ask you something. So who was those individuals that actually saw the worth in the man, but when they got him, hitting the pipe, smoking stuff at 14? Who does that? Who's responsible for that? And then how are we to view them now?
Yeah, so the mere mortals. The same way that we internalize God, DMX was godlike. So the mere mortals see him and see God. We saw him and we saw God. He spoke and we felt God, right? Because if in the beginning was word, then when he spoke words, he was godly. When he opened his mouth, he was God.